What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 40 of our Sochaux Let's Play here in Football Manager 2018. We are back once more, of course, and today it's the end of Season 4, penultimate commentary, and I say penultimate because there's going to be a big one after this, which I'm looking forward to this season, but for the here and now, we're going to be focusing on the task at hand, which is to try and beat Monaco and push them right to the end of the season. Since you were last here, 4 games played. Now, at the end of last episode, I said I was going to do the League Cup semi-final. I decided not to do that because I've just done so many episodes this season. Normally, a series will have about 8 episodes a season, maybe slightly more if you're in Europe. Today is our, I believe, 10th or 11th episode this season, and because I knew that we were probably going to have to do an end-of-season live com, which I'd ideally like to get bundled in with the final, and because the semi-final was against a team in the 3rd tier, I kind of backed our boys to get the win. As you can see looking at your results here, we did get that win, which was good to see. I'm kind of glad I didn't do the episode in hindsight because I absolutely have to do today's game against Monaco. It's a massive game for us, and well, you'll start to realise just why in a second. But first and foremost, let's go through the 4 games since you were last here. The first game against Auxerre was a real kind of interesting game, this one. It started off as a bit of a slow burner before bursting into life before half-time. Almada picked up the first goal for us, and then Mbula got us a second right before half-time. And, well, 2-0 up we sat, and then Rafael Diarra got the second half off to a screamer for us with his goal in the 48th minute. From there, 3 goals up, they actually pegged us back, but 2 later goals in the game, Trincao and Kubik with them, saw us run out victors in this game. A bit of a hard-fought battle. Auxerre were the other team in the French Cup semi-final, you may remember. They lost to QRM. Yes, the French national team, QRM, had already knocked out, I think, 3 or 4 top-flight French teams. They knocked out Auxerre. We're going to be taking them on in the final to end the season. I'll be honest, I feel a little bit like an elephant being scared of a mouse with them, having seen them murder a load of other elephants. They're a killer mouse, our QRM. You can see here, we've got them in that final. As I mentioned, they took on Auxerre, who we coincidentally picked up in the league, and they actually beat them on penalties, you can see here, 4-2, which was absolutely superb for them. Anyway, our game following Auxerre was against Lens, a team who we drew against earlier on in the season at home. They're already confirmed to be relegated, and have only won 1 game this year, and they scored first in this game. And let me tell you, when they got that first goal, I may have been panicking a little. Yes, they got it. Fortunately for us, we did bounce back. Having conceded from a set piece, we scored from 2 of our own. And Mbula with the first, which was kind of a half-cleared corner. Kubik's goal in the second half was a nice little one. Again, it came from a corner that they didn't initially deal with. We managed to get the ball back into the box, and, well, Mikhail Kubik really showed the aerial prowess that he has over our other strikers. And to wrap up the goal scoring, it was good to see Dimitri Millet get a goal. He came on off the bench for Mbula out on the right-hand side, and he got a goal to his name, which was great to see for the Frenchman. It was not a bad goal either by him, to be fair. And, well, Millet, this wasn't going to be the only time he scored in this run of games, because, as I mentioned, in the next game, we took on GF38 in the French Cup semi-final. They were always going to be, well, I hope they were always going to be an easy game. It was going to be a game that we could get over the hill with rather easy. You know, they are a 3rd-tier team in this division. We play very well against teams who aren't as good as us. I feel like with our kind of controlling style of play, we really like to bully smaller teams, as horrible as it sounds. And, well, in this game, we did just that. We dominated. We had loads of clear-cut chances. They didn't hit the target with any of their efforts. And Dimitri Millet grabbed a hat-trick, his 2nd goal in this game. Absolutely superb by the Frenchman. And following this, I've opened up talks about giving him a new contract because he did want one, and we're looking at maybe getting Millet tied down to a 3-year-long deal or an extension on his 3-year-long deal to make it a 4-year contract. However, as part of that, he does want a wage rise. But looking at him here, he has improved so much this season that I'm not that scared to give him the wage rise. Of course, he arrived in for £9.5 million this year, had played at Ligue 1 level for a couple of seasons for Nîmes without ever really setting the world alight. To be fair, in the league he's been a bit hit and miss, but in cup competitions he has been scoring for fun. And as I said, he's improved a lot this season. The Frenchman, of course, the first of our players ever to play for the French national team. And I think he's probably been one of the big surprise packages this season. I thought he'd be good. I didn't think he'd be as good as he has been for us, Millet. Anyway, in our most recent game, we kept up the goal-scoring antics as we beat Dijon 4-0. Of course, last episode we beat Lyon 5-0. And, well, following on from this, you can see 5-1, 3-1, 3-0, and, well, this game which finished 4-0. And it was a good little performance for us. Kubik opened up the goal scoring, and, well, the goals, they just kept flowing. We created a lot of chances in this game. We had a lot more of the ball than Dijon, a team who last season did cause us a few troubles in cup competitions. But, well, today and this season, we dispatched of them relatively comfortably. In the end, you can see, as I mentioned, Kubik got the opener. Good to see Millet grab a goal right at the end. Again, coming on off the bench, he's been a bit of an impact sub for us, as has Moroni, who, well, we'll talk about in a second, because I have been thinking ahead to next season. I've been thinking ahead, you know, planning ahead for a Champions League campaign, which is now looking increasingly likely. And we've made 2 signings. Yes, 2 signings before the transfer window is even open. Of course, there's a few players here who we signed previously. Timothy Tillman was a deal agreed in January. A good little backup kind of attacking midfielder is what I'm kind of seeing him as. Kliedson, who we signed, as you can see here, from the Brazilian club. I'm not going to say their name because I'm not sure what it is without the real name fix. But this guy looks like a very, very good player, aged 18. Determined player. Looks like he could be a great striker, to be honest, or shadow striker. He's going to be joining us, well, in not so long, and, well, I'm looking forward to having him in. Alongside those 2 players, however, 2 new signings. The first one, Maxime Lopez, has agreed to join us from Marseille. He's on loan at Sassuolo this season. His contract was up at the end of the year. We've offered him a contract. He has agreed to sign. I'm very excited about him. In terms of where I see him fitting in, I'm thinking he's probably going to be a replacement for Moroni. Now, you might be surprised to hear me say a replacement for Moroni. But Gonzalo Moroni, since we brought him in, he's been good. He's had a bit of interest in him, but he's not really set the world alight. And for a lot of the time this season, he's been coming on off the bench. You can see 6 starts in the league, 11 on off the bench. Last year, he was a fairly important player for us. This year, his average ratings have been great, but he's just not starting for us, and he occupies a foreign player spot. And now, if you don't know the rules in France, you're allowed 4 foreign players outside of the EU nations, and I think all but Egypt, and I want to say, I can't remember what the other African club is, but African players are also treated as non-foreign. This guy is a foreign player. We only have 4 of these slots. Now, to go through the players who have them at the moment, it's Moroni, Almada, and Dougie Pote. Now, unfortunately, Moroni being on the bench and really appearing as a sub makes it difficult to justify him occupying one of those spots, and it's the same with Dougie Pote, really. Of course, a player who joined us years ago now, coincidentally actually from the same club as Kliedson, where he was on loan at the time. But, well, for £50,000, he's been a good player for us, but you can see this year he's just not played at all, really, for us, just in any competition. He's been the backup of all backups, and he's occupying one of these foreign player spots. And I feel like he's probably got to move on. So, yeah, Dougie Pote and Moroni looking like players we might shift on. As I said, I feel like our replacement for Moroni is Maxime Lopez. Of course, Kliedson is going to occupy a foreign player spot. Another player in our club who probably justifies a first-team position who would occupy one of those spots is, of course, Victor Hugo Vente. We talked about him in the Academy episode. You can see he has got that 1 cap for Colombia now. Was disappointed to be left out the Ligue 1 squad back in January when we submitted it. He looks like a very good goalkeeper. I feel like I've got to have him in the first team, so he's going to take up a slot. Of course, we do have a lot of talented goalkeepers, but I feel like he's a very good player. It'd be difficult to not have him in the team. And additionally, we have one more signing to talk of, which is this guy, Bolden. And, well, I think he's probably the best player we've signed in terms of regens as a raw talent. This guy, Christian Bolden, you can see here, 17 years young. He's going to be joining us in January of next season, so he's got a little while until he's going to be joining us. Looks superb, and you might be wondering, how much did you pay for him? We paid £2.6 million. We hit a release clause that he had in his contract. And yeah, he looks absolutely incredible. Already probably good enough to play in our division. He looks superb. Unfortunately, he is going to take up one of those foreign player spots. You can see a left winger. I feel like he could be the competition that Trincao needs out on the left-hand side. Trincao has had a bit of an unfortunate spate of injuries this year. You can see when you compare the players, yes, Trincao's probably better as a winger, but there's not a massive gulfing class between them, particularly with Bolden only being 17. And, well, for £2.6 million to pick up this guy, found him through the Argentine under-20 squad where he was making a lot of appearances. I'm super excited to have him joining us next season. He's going to be a big, big player for us, I feel like. Anyway, you can see here, Moroni, we did actually get a bid from him in January. I don't recall talking about it, but it was only £7 million. If I was to get that kind of bid in the summer, I might be swung around by it. You can see he's still got 2 years left on his contract. It'd be great if we could just make profit on Moroni, really. We brought him in for £1.8 million, so I guess profit is all but guaranteed. really any kind of double figure, kind of £1 million sum would be a good little sum of money, particularly considering of course, that Maxime Lopez is his replacement, is coming in on a free, and a very good player on a free as well. You can see consistent, enjoys big matches. He ticks a lot of boxes, does the Frenchman, and, well, with him being French, that's a nice bonus. Anyway, in terms of the league and how things are looking right now, we are third in the league. If we win or get a draw today, we are guaranteed a top 4 finish, which means we are going to at least go into the Champions League playoff spots. Today we take on AS Monaco. Now, they are 3 points ahead of us and do have better goal difference. If we can beat them today by a 2-goal margin, things are going to get interesting. Because it comes down to goal difference, and I think if it doesn't go to goal difference, it goes to head-to-head results. I want to say, yeah, it does go to results between teams. Now, in the first game against Monaco, we did lose 3-2. You may remember that live com. But at home today, I back us to really take the game to them and try and get a win. As I said, a win for us today would see us move equal on points with them. The goal difference would probably still be in their favour, but with 2 games left, it would go down to the wire. So yeah, we're looking to just try and win this game. And in terms of the team, no real injuries to speak of, which is great. In goal, we are, of course, going to go with Lafont. Ahead of him, we are going to go out on the left with Chilwell. Pendant has been a bit of a liability as of late. Ben Chilwell, he's not been great for us this year, but he's shown, promise. Obviously, we're going to have Felix and Diarra at centre-back. Felix has improved a lot this year. Of course, Diarra, just a player who's just been a really consistent first-team player for us through the last few seasons, really. At right-back, we are going to go with Pinto ahead of Gauthier today. In the centre of the midfield, it's going to be Chevalier, perhaps the most improved player alongside Millet this year. I mean, his mentals are just ridiculous. He's 18 years old, and he's a young 18, really, as well. I mean, the potential of this guy feels a little limitless. It's going to be interesting to see if we can try and keep hold of him over the summer. Ahead of him, of course, we've got Blonde, who we signed in January. Has been a real revelation in the first team. You can see a 7.43 average rating in the league across 15 starts now. He's really made that Mazzala role his own since he joined us. Out on the left today, we are going to go with Kubik playing as a winger. Trincao is out injured, so a little bit of shuffling around needed there. Of course, Almada going to be playing that centre attacking mid-role for us. Again, he's another player who's improved a lot this season. Out on the right, we are going to go with Mbula. And in the striker position, we are, of course, going to go with the one, the only. It's going to be Quinton Ducasse. Anyway, on the bench, we've got a few different options. As I mentioned, unfortunately for us, Trincao carrying a bit of an injury, probably not fit enough to start even off or even come off the bench today. So in terms of the bench, fairly standard. We've got Gauthier, Pendant, Jean-Do Fuchs, Almeida, Harry Wilson, Millet and Dougie Pote. So yeah, looking at this, I should probably get a centre-back on the bench because we don't actually have one, I don't think, which is a little bit risky. I think we'll have to make Pendant make way. And I think actually the man to put on the bench in this kind of game is probably Ali, the Romanian, a player who I should probably be given a bit more first-team football to really help him reach his potential. He's found himself outside of the Romanian national team. Certainly a player who's good enough to be a backup for us, but given the fact he needs first-team football to develop, probably going to be going out on loan next season if I decide that I'm not going to start him that much. Anyway, we are going to go into this game. Mbula playing against his former club, hoping for a good performance. We are at home today. And, well, Monaco, they're not going to be pushovers. Losing this game probably sees us just settle for 3rd or 4th place in the league this year. As I said, next episode will be the kind of last episode of the season prior to the end of season end of season review, and that will be the French Cup. Now, if it goes down to the wire, I will probably bundle in the last game of the season, which is against Nice, into the mix. It could be a big game for us. I mean, we come into this game in hot form, so I'm hoping that we're going to be able to perform well here. You saw we've been scoring goals for fun. I think the big challenge for us, I was going to say, is going to be trying to stay solid at the back. It would also be good if we could stay solid as a team. Ducasse injured. Not the injury we want to see, but, well, this season, more so than any other previous season here at Sochaux, we have the backup plans when it comes to strikers. Dimitri Millet gets his tracksuit off. He's going to get on the pitch. A very good player for us. And I must admit, there is a bit of a conundrum that I've got at the moment, which is trying to get Kubik, Millet and Ducasse all into the team at once. I don't know how I'm going to overcome that. Now, of course, we have just conceded, but I need to concede this point. But obviously, Millet plays attacking midfielder on the right, as well as striker. Kubik can play attacking midfielder on the left, as well as striker. Ducasse is kind of limited to a centre mid role. I am thinking about looking at trying to play a system with 3 strikers next season, potentially, or at least having it as a plan B. I guess the issue with playing that is you kind of want to get your star players in there, and Millet, Ducasse and Kubik, I think you'd have to list as star players. but we want to get them all in there. But to do that, three strikers kind of compromises us elsewhere. Blond's now just picked up an injury, so it's going from bad to worse, really. Ducasse injured, we concede, and now we've lost Blond, who, as I mentioned, he's really made that Mazzala role his own. He's become an essential part of the way that we play, and so for him to be injured, it was a twisted knee, which is an injury I'm not even going to dare risk. We're forced into 2 of our 3 subs within the first 20 minutes of the game, which could leave me with a bit of a headache going forward. Despite being a goal down, though, against Monaco, it's hard to say we've been outclassed. We've had more of the ball. They've only had the 1 shot on target, which found the back of the net. It's been a game of few chances. And, well, I'm hoping that the players are going to step it up in the second half. I'm going to get rid of retained possession and work ball into the box. We're going to go a little bit more attacking. I feel like we've got to be a bit more direct with our play. At home this game, we grabbed this game by the scruff of our neck a little bit. We've slipped it and let it slip and let it come out of our grasp for a second. They've got a goal. But since then, it's been back in our control. And so I'm hoping going on the front foot now, trying to be positive in this second half, is hopefully going to reap some rewards. Anyway, Chevalier here, as I mentioned, probably the most improved player for us. Misplacing a pass there. He has got the highest pass completion in the team at 89%. He has been superb with the ball at his feet for the most part this year, Chevalier. Obviously, his mentals just help him stay so composed on the ball and also pick out the right pass. But, well, we need to defend here. Andre Silva through. Lafont, what a stop that is. It was smashed straight at him, but a good save nevertheless. And, well, we now need to deal with a set-piece. Felix heads it clear, only as far as under Herrera. I mean, Monaco only 1 goal up at the moment, and I feel like we are finding our feet a little in this game. Kubik and Millet on, so we've got the goal-scoring threats. In terms of attackers on the bench, our only real options now are Harry Wilson and Dougie Pote, in terms of players who you'd feel could go out there and chase us a goal. But we don't need to make any rash changes just yet, and really, we can't afford to make any changes just yet because we are in a bit of a conundrum where we only have 1 sub left, and to make it now could really leave the risk of us getting a player injured or worse, sent off and finding ourselves a man down. But maybe I do need to be reactionary because Monaco have just grabbed another. They've gone 2 goals up. Andre Silva with it there. Disappointing marking by us. And, well, they just found their way through. Yuri Tillemans, the young Belgian, bringing the ball forward. Ball kind of breaks to Hervin Lozano. I mean, it's a real all-star team that Monaco have here. And then they pull it to Andre Silva, who just tucks it away in the end. I think it was a little unfortunate by Diarra. I think he may have even kicked it into the attacker's shins. But, well, it's 2-0 here, and it feels a little harsh. If we could get a goal, we're certainly still in this game. And Millet's going to try and make something happen. Hits it from range. It was ambitious. He definitely had grass in front of him to run into. In the end, he elected for the long shot. Perhaps a little bit of a lack of composure there. But the ball whipped in. Diarra nods it onto Udokai, and, well, Felix probably should be hitting the back of the net there. Unfortunately, the keeper held on to it. And that was a real good chance for us, actually, that header in the 6-yard box, but straight at the keeper. And I feel like now, 74 minutes gone, this is where we now need to look to make our tactical changes. In terms of how I want to change things here, I think we're going to kind of just have to keep it fairly simple. I'm going to move Kubik to complete forward on attack. We'll move Chevalier, I think, into centre defence in mid. In terms of how I might line up with the 3-striker system, this is the kind of system I'm thinking we might play. Something with 2 centre-backs, the wing-backs, maybe Chevalier playing defensive midfielder or deep line playmaker on defend, and then, well, perhaps something like this. Anyway, we do need to mix things up here. We need to get some fresh legs on, and we're going to do that, I think, in Dougie Pote for Mbula. We're going to go with the double complete forward, either side of an advanced forward in Millet. See what we can do here, but yeah, we need 2 goals. It's a bit of a roll of the dice here to try and make something happen. Unfortunately, really, the 2 injuries have hit us hard. Ducasse, his injury particularly disappointing, but, well, despite the early dominance in this game and, well, as you can see, having significantly more shots than Monaco, we've simply put not crafted out enough great opportunities. We've lacked a little bit of a spark, I guess, in the team, but, well, there could still be time. If Kubik could get a goal here, as he goes for one of the most ambitious efforts I've seen in the Football Manager this year. I was about to say, if he gets a goal there, maybe there's a chance with 3 minutes left, but unfortunately, it does go wide. The ref's whistle's going to go here. It's going to finish 2-0 Monaco. Disappointing result, really. I was hoping that we could win this game to really push it on further, kind of how the season could end. With that, now we cannot finish second because Monaco are 6 points clear with 2 games left. We've lost against them twice. Ducasse out with a twisted ankle. Not a good injury for him to receive. Blond out for the rest of the season, probably. Actually, no, 4 to 5 days. He'll be okay. He'll live. But the twisted knee, not ideal. 4 to 7 days. But in terms of the matches we've got coming up, we've got Saint Etienne, we've got Nice who are in 5th. Assuming we can get 1 point in our next 2 games, which you'd kind of back us to do against Saint Etienne, who are right down towards the bottom of the table. The game against Nice isn't going to have a whole lot riding on it. It's probably worth continuing here because Marseille do have a game to end the season against Metz. We'll see what happens with them here. And, well, with that result, Chevalier wants a new contract. Less of that. What was the Monaco result? Not the Monaco result. The Marseille result. Did they win? They haven't played yet, right? I've got to talk to Chevalier first. Diarra, can you get him to not ask for a new contract? I don't. The club can't afford it. Okay, excellent. Correct answer, Chevalier. I'm glad that you listened to me. Right, Marseille, if you could lose here against Metz, that would help me out. Thank you very much, Metz. You are my heroes in life. They win. That keeps us ahead of Marseille for now. 2 games left. I don't think we'll do the last game of the season against Nice, just because I don't think it's going to be important now. As long as we get a point, of course. If we screw up the next game and Nice close the gap, then that's slightly different. In terms of the qualification into the continental stuff, you can see the top 4 teams actually qualify straight into the group stage, which I didn't realise until recently. For some reason, I had it in my head that 4th place would go into the playoffs. So, yeah, we are almost guaranteed a Champions League group stage spot next season, which is really exciting. I don't know why that just crossed my mind now to point that out. I feel like because I've been incorrectly saying about the playoffs. I might even have said it incorrectly this episode, but I only realised that a few weeks ago in game time. But yeah, so a top 4 finish would be good enough for us here. It's a bit of a shame that we're not going to be able to chase Monaco now. But, well, I feel like after getting 4th last season, even getting 4th this year would have been a good little achievement. I feel like we've grown the squad in size and quality, whilst there's a big mountain to come in terms of trying to beat Monaco and PSG. I feel like we're trying to approach things the right way by harbouring some really good young talent and developing it into the kind of talent that should hopefully be capable of pushing PSG and Monaco to the limits on a budget. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up today's episode from me. Next episode, as I said, is more than likely going to be the French Cup final against QRM. I am terrified that we're going to bottle it. Hopefully, I'll see you guys for that final. And yeah, other than that, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.